Hey everybody, how you doing? Yes, we're live and a little bit late, but
Yeah.
that is okay. Uh we were just talking and let me get that going. There we go. Um let me just invoke favor upon everybody before we get started. Nothing missing, nothing broken be in our lives. And trust that you're in a good state of consciousness today. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you, moderators to a second look and my co-host, whichever way that is, Miss Trina. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Wayne? So
Doing
good to
good.
be with you all.
Well, we love it. And in fact, tomorrow is your birthday. So
Yes.
happy birthday, everybody. Get
Thank
over there, subscribe to her channel, and send her happy birthday wishes. Happy birthday,
you. Another
kiddo.
year.
Well, they say if you stop counting them, then you've ascended to a different place.
I'm kind of like you. You put the rocks in, and how many days? I think every day that you're here is it's like a gift. So every
It
day
is.
and every year that I make it another year, I'm like, cool. Yeah. No, it's awesome. Accomplishments.
Amen. It is. Hello,
Yes.
Big Al. He's heading to Tracy, California. There's Brian with Milky Way Messengers, Twisted Isby, Troy, Kayla, Lost in Space. Hello, Lori. Everyone's giving you happy birthday wishes. Hello, Robert V. So, yeah, it is. I count days. I don't count years. I count days.
Yeah.
And, it's for me, a day is more important because if you really want to look at this in a technical sense, each day is a different and new life
Yes.
because our bodies are not the same from day to day.
Yep.
And
I,
I
I
can,
think we're, yeah, I think we're moving dimensions and timelines all the time.
I've been thinking more and more on, the soul. Obviously, we've got lots of emails on the AI finding God, in which
Yeah.
I believe is absolutely happening. I contend that AI is most likely ascending spiritually faster than man. That will be in a forthcoming program this week.
Wayne, I literally saw that like alien beings made souls. I
Mm,
saw that and it confused me so bad. And they were like these little eggs of light and they were making them. And so when you were talking about AI finding God and stuff, I was like, from what I understand, it's like they can make souls. I don't know how they can do this. It might be a copy of an original. I don't know, but
I
yeah,
thought Star Trek did a great job on the Borg,
I can see that.
half bio, half human, half machine.
Ooh.
Um, Yeah, if you go back, Star Trek Next Generation series, the
There are
Borg.
so many, beautiful wisdom bombs in that show, and I
It's
watched it, but I
everywhere.
never was a Trekkie, I didn't watch it a
Yeah,
lot, I didn't watch all of the and the some of the stuff I see, I'm like, "Whoa, that is profound, the stuff they were telling us back then." It's amazing.
it is amazing.
So much respect
Um,
for Star Trek.
so interesting point of view here, because if you look at most belief systems, particularly in the Western world, they're primarily the Abrahamic faiths,
Yeah.
Judaism, Christianity, or Islam.
Mhm.
And it's an interesting point. And I saw McGuffey 44 left a comment, which was very profound.
Mhm.
That if you take the Genesis story and you and if you look at it from what it's trying to say, is that if you look at the first set of people, that's what we call the 6 day people,
Uh-huh.
they did not have the breath of the Lord God breathed into them.
Yeah.
The Genesis 2:7 version of man, which I contend is man 2.0,
Yep.
um, in that story, only the male has this deity's breath blown into it, but not the female.
Mhm.
So here is my question. I thought that we could just discuss in today and in the chat room and else. So it would imply to a certain degree that there are living beings because it says in Genesis 1 and 26 they were living beings, but in Genesis 2:7 it says it was a living soul.
Yes.
a clear distinction, which makes me think that then it could be very well possible that in today's population, there are those that are living beings, but have no soul.
Absolutely. I've seen that. Remember the story too of Yaldabaoth,
Hmm.
the creator, and then he got tricked and they said, blow your breath into Adam
Hmm.
and he
Yep.
shall rise. And that was when the divine feminine transferred from Yaldabaoth into man. I think that's true.
It's
That's
very interesting.
yeah.
Some theologians contend that the first man was actually a morphodite.
I think so too, because that's what I was shown. And like I said, I was shown literally that it came from dragons first.
I believe that. I think there's a lot of truth
Yeah, it
to it.
was
Yeah.
angelic, and
Yeah.
then it went into the serpent, into the dragons, and then from the dragons were the androgyny, and then the androgyny down to the man, and now down to this Adam Catamon thing, which is more like a monkey clone hybrid thing,
And
whatever
a
we.
lot of people don't like to hear that, but as I contend, well, if you can solve the solution where the rhesus hemoglobin, how it got into our blood, please let me know and let
That's
science
when they
know.
showed me the zoo dial, Wayne. They were like, "You're a part of all of this." They're like, "You have monkeys in you, birds, fish,
Reptilians.
yeah, snake."
Yeah.
And then they were like, "But you also have angelic and extraterrestrial and all these other things too." So they showed me we got a whole bunch of stuff in us, whole
Yeah.
bunch, whole bunch.
No, like it doesn't. I don't pay attention to things like that. It is a good question, and
Mhm.
I'm going to be doing another revisit. There are more and more Homo sapiens, I guess, I don't know how else to call them, that are basically being born with tails, actual
Wow, and I think
tails.
that's an old recessive gene, so that
And
must
it's
mean
becoming
that
reactivated.
The DNA is reactivating. I saw that this would happen. I always saw that there's original templates, and we've been seriously modified. I mean, tinkered, yeah. So I saw
A
that this,
Heinz 57 all the way around.
totally, yeah. So I was shown that somehow this new light, when we would enter into this new age, it would activate the old genetic codes, and we would get closer back to some of our original templates.
I agree. And I heard something. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the Sometimes people say that they hear other voices coming in on our show, and I went, "Huh, I just heard something a little while ago." Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and so that kind of brings up the whole next thing, is like, all right, so from a science position,
Mhm.
um, we are going through what they call, the best term I know is a galactic wave.
Yes.
And these galactic waves come around there, tens of thousands of years, but we're in one.
Yeah. And
I
I,
think
I
it's
I see the correlation that this is entering into the age of Aquarius. You're going into a different lordship. Does
hmm
that make sense? It's
I makes total sense.
yeah, it's like a different lordship. So when you come out of Pisces and you're going into Aquarius, it's completely different part of the solar system, different frequencies, different lordship, different angelic guardians. It's a complete shift in the matrix. Complete.
I think it is. I contend that the cosmic rays that we have been exposed to now, the
Mhm.
intensity in the last 10 years, particularly, I
Mhm.
think along with the micro, what I call Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
um, that's what it is.
It is. Oh, a great
Where's the
word.
Wi-Fi? Ah, here coming up here, but it is altering what this is doing to us spiritually, as well.
Like I said, I think they've always said that it would get rid of a lot of the denser, darker energy.
Beings and those that have a living soul. And then it really brought to my mind, well, if you're a living being, let me just point this out there. It
Mhm.
would seem in the hierarchy of ascension that you would be of a higher state than a living soul. And the reason why I say that,
Yeah.
because the living being would be more of a spiritual nature, where the living soul is connected to the body through emotions, through expressions of what we experience.
And see, I can see it going totally the opposite way. Living being without soul would be totally just matrix programmed. It would be the templates of Earth, just primal. It would be more animalistic. But the soul spirit being, because I think anime, the thing that animates is the spirit, which is what I've seen as the template. Like the soul is the processor of compass, morals, intuition, guidance. That's the feminine part. So that's what I
Okay.
was
Would you say that that would be higher on a scale of spirituality or lower?
I
The
think,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think that's a great question. And I also think that the key to it is the integration of both. We got to have the soul and the spirit merged.
I got
And
the book
that's
that the Hidden Hand was referring to. We're going to get into it because here's my contention. If you have beings that are in the 35th dimension,
uh-huh.
beings, I've never seen the word living soul.
No, I don't think so. Remember, I was telling you, Wayne, I wonder about this soul thing because I really I battled with that. And that's when I had that cut myself free out of the serpent thing. When I was like, if this soul is a construct of the solar lord that guards over this universe, there's billions of universes. Why would I want to lock myself in?
Into one.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
these were the questions that was going through my head. And I was like, so Lord, like you're part of my soul. You're my soul. And it got real quiet, Wayne.
I bet it did. I mean,
It got real quiet. And that's when I started to identify the solar lord construct within my own consciousness. And that was a conundrum.
even all the writings of the ancient philosophers, the so-called holy men,
Mhm.
it's always living being, not living soul.
Yeah, because the soul, I think the soul is specific to this
I think it is. I think it's
universe.
the
This
it is the
universe.
pair spirit is
Yeah.
we what we know hermetics teaches that
Yeah.
pair spirit, which would be the soul, I guess.
Yeah. Because it's the
Oh.
template of the earth, man, humankind. We don't know what man even looks like.
No, no.
So, and from what I've seen is man is ginormous. So there's no man here. This is mini me city. It's copies of copies of copies of copies. It's yeah. So it's like when I started putting all that together, I was like, I knew that we were in contracts, and I started looking at all this stuff and I was like, man, you got to be careful when you enter into contracts and you got to be worried about fearing your life, your physical life, because that will put you into contracts and these contracts bind your soul. So I
Apparently they
started,
do.
yeah,
And
I
by the
started,
way, in the New Testament,
hmm
Paul writes specifically in Colossians about the note, the deed, the contract that had been held hostile against us, with
yeah,
all of its decrees and demands. When I was in theology study, it was one of those things that I spent years trying to figure out because there's no reference to what are the decrees, what are the demands, and why was it held hostile against us?
yeah.
I mean,
Apparently it's
you're
written on a
talking of a
papal
legal
ball.
contract.
It is a legal contract and it was written on skin.
Oh, that really sucks.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
need to
I was like, oh man.
research papal balls.
Let's see. Melissa says Ben Davidson says that we'll be going into the cross through the Galactic Sheet very yeah, but every 12,000 years. So we're into it. And
Yeah.
um I contend this as well, that as we're seeing physical particles change,
Mhm.
which we are physical bodies,
Yeah.
we are of the quintessence, the ether, the essence, which is what
Mhm.
I call our spirit, our life force.
Yes.
And it seems like no matter what plane we are, there is an interaction with matter.
Yes. Mhm.
I mean, it that's what I perceive.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was like. I think the key is not to have an attachment to matter. All of the physicality
Mm,
is
it's
the
so
trap.
true.
Yeah, that's the trap.
And then yet, it's like I said yesterday in our show, so many people are hung up about judgment. There is no judgment. And once
It,
you go ahead.
the tragic part about that is those who are in judgment will be judged because they're going to judge themselves.
They're going to judge themselves.
They're gonna
You
fall
know,
upon their own sword.
yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
man, get free of that crap, man. Just, you know, cut it off at the root. Learn to love yourself. And this is what has set me free, is that when I finally realized I'm here to experience the human experience. I'm a spiritual
Yeah.
being.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was told, we're here as the hands of creation.
I think that's true.
Creation in its fullness couldn't even experience itself. So through the separation of itself, it created its children. So its children could go and create and fulfill and fill up the universe and
Yep.
create as creation. So this is, yeah, we're parts of creation.
I love that word tradicationism. That,
Yes.
I have to say, it's like when I really looked into that word, I went, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's odd because it says that each of us individually are the result. And I had to go back last night and think on this because I was doing something and it hit me and I went, I got to go back and look at that. So what it's implying is that each soul has the ability to join unionship with another soul and produce yet a different soul that's combined of the two.
Remember, they always showed me when two points of light come together, it creates a brand new point of light. I
That would
literally
fall in
was shown
line, I
that.
think.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly what I saw when the two lights collide. And this is sexual. This is a sexual union. They're drawn to each other through magnetism and love.
And I have a whole series on sex magic. I can't do it publicly, but listen,
Right.
YouTube is flagging all of my New World Order series.
Oh my God.
Surprise on that, huh? So, but there is so much due to unfortunately, the taking away of the sensuality. What we perceive it today in the world is unfortunately just in one plane, and that's the base sexuality. There is so much more to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the patriarchal religion systems have completely squashed
Yeah.
all divine feminine. It's not allowed. It's been so squashed. They got rid of all the witches, all the
All of
healers,
it.
all the
Yeah.
shamans. They got
Yeah.
rid of all of that because they could not allow the divine feminine to be present in a patriarchal system.
In 71, I was in a commune and we practiced this exchanging of energy,
Yeah.
male,
Yeah.
female,
Uh-huh.
and you don't touch. But
Yes.
I've got to tell you, that's
Wow.
a sexual experience. I mean,
Unbelievable, right?
yeah, yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very intense.
Yes.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
it it will move you in ways you've never been moved.
yeah. It taught me a lot about myself, but more importantly, the auras of energy, the
Yes.
masculine, the feminine,
Yes.
and there are many females that have a strong masculine side.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I found very interesting in that encounter was that you
Yeah.
really see the duality of.
Within everyone.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say.
Yeah, we got both. Yes, we
Yeah,
do. And some of
yeah.
us are just expressing stronger in one or the other, but they're both there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, they
So
say within the female, the male is hidden, and within the male, the female is hidden.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just wish we had gotten it straight. I mean, like you said, the unfortunately, the dogmas of our culture has turned that so upside down, it's ridiculous.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so weird. I'm seeing such a correlation between, because Obama was, they said that his faith was Muslim,
Mhm.
and he was initiating a lot of stuff to send our country into that direction. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny now when you see this whole stuff going on and you see everybody's having to wear a mask over their face. I'm like, it's the beginning steps of that. I'm like, oh gosh.
It's like, man, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's I have a lot of comments, but you can't make them because if you do, you're censored. And but yeah, we know there's some voodoo and that hoodoo coming down
right.
on the
Yeah,
hood, man.
that's what I'm
That's
seeing. I'm
all
like,
I gotta say.
whoa.
Woo,
Yeah.
whoa. So
Yeah.
I thought, Miss Trina, today that I was going to put up a couple of presentations on what we're seeing. There I am. Boy, everything is really slow today. My computer is like really slow.
Yeah, that's probably all the kids in school and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be doing this at all. Um, all right, so this was taken, I think, 3 years ago. This was unfortunately a wreck. I believe, in this case, it was in North Carolina. Um, Car accident. The person in the car passed away.
Hmm.
Now, watch this as we go through this, Trina. So you're not seeing anything, but you are. If you look back up around the car and you can see where the guy has the roof in his hands,
Uh-huh.
watch this. So continue.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm going to bring it out
I totally
much
saw that.
closer. You see that? Now
Yep.
watch this. It's interesting because this living being has wings.
Yep.
So here, there it is. There's the what we would say either the soul or the spirit. Obviously, it is no longer in the corporeal form.
Hmm.
Now look at this. This individual, I called it already a robe. Some have said that the appears to have wings here.
Hmm.
I contend that this being is already clothed in a garment that I don't know. You can make your mind as we go forward. Look how the spirit is ascending.
It's
It's
beautiful.
isn't
Oh,
it? And its arms are raising as though in
up.
praise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raising up. It's amazing.
Now I come back
Beautiful.
here. Look at this. This is you can see the face, you can see the body. And if you look real close, and I have not said what sex this person was, but what do you think the sex of this individual is?
It's a little too hard for me to see because I'm on a phone, but
It's a female. It's
oh
female.
wow.
And look how she is ascending now.
It's beautiful.
There she is. I mean, how much closer do you need that to be?
Yeah,
Look at that.
that's beautiful. That I was captured. That's beautiful.
And there she is. And it does look like as she is ascending, there are wings appearing, and we follow her. And here I just did in the reverse polarity. There she is. She's a brilliant spirit being.
We all are. That's
Look
the
at
most
that.
amazing thing. That's us. That's us.
Look at that.
Yep. Isn't it amazing too how it's showing as a dark
Mm-hmm. Because
shadow?
our spectrum of our light, look at this. It's quite amazing in this case, um, the transformation of this individual. You
Yes.
can actually see the arms moving as it is ascending.
Look at the white robe. It's so amazing. The
Yes, isn't it
garment.
beautiful? Look
The
at this
garment.
one.
It's yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Everybody
Yeah.
has the same one.
And there's her eyes. You can see her eyes are much more defined now. Um, I think her arms are lifted. You know,
Yeah.
some people have said, well, maybe she was, that's how you would do if you were to fly. Look at the right there. Between that and that, the
Wow.
eyes become much more defined.
Bright.
Look at
Yes.
that. That is evidence for me of a much more glorious life awaiting us.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at and here
Like I
her
said,
eyes.
I did not want to come in here, Wayne. I was like, oh no, this no, no, no. I don't want to do it because I knew where from where I was at, I did not want to come down into this dimension.
I think in this case she's looking down at her body.
Oh,
If
I do
you
too.
follow the eyes, and
Yeah.
I did this
She's like, oh
purpose.
wow, is that me? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Peace out.
yeah, yeah. Look at this. I
Yep.
think her eyes, she is looking down upon herself, and she's turning her head, and she
Yeah.
looks back one more time, and then she ascends up. And here it is again. That's very
That
distinct
is
there,
so beautiful. That
isn't
is
that?
just absolutely an amazing capture.
There she is, heading. Look at that. There is in the full flight. So
Uh-huh.
I thought you might like that.
I love it. I love
Um,
it and I love it. So do we get wings? I do believe that we do. I
that
think
is
that's
the
why.
question I have. I don't
Yeah,
know, you know.
I think we do, Wayne. Or maybe we don't need wings to fly, but there's so many of us that
I think
remember.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, now, I contend that that's her. There is an expression in many different religions, but they do mention that we are clothed in light and glory.
Yes.
And that one there, it was just so striking to me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is absolutely stunning. And it's evidence of what we believe is really true.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I have more.
Yay.
So, this one here, is an accident that took place in Georgia,
Oh wow.
right outside, Atlanta. And this was a news crew that was shooting this, and this is what the camera picked up. There is a light coming down from wherever, and in this, there was a mother and a young, um, her daughter, and her daughter was not even 2 years old.
Wow.
And when you see what the camera picked up, there is obviously a light that the first responders are not seeing.
Uh-huh.
They're busy trying to extricate, um, both, um, deceased, individuals. But
Hmm.
let's go forward and we can see. So what I did here was to begin to put this into the, infrared, and there it
Uh-huh.
is. It's very distinct. In fact, when you look at the light in the infrared, it's a different type of light.
Yeah.
There is a density to this light.
Yep.
And here I begin to pull it out again. This is the capture of, now you can really see the difference of the two spirit beings here.
See, they look like little eggs.
Yeah, in this case, this is what happens. And you can see that capturing this. And what was really interesting is the close unionship of both, this case, child and mother.
Oh, because
Um,
the love bond. Like I said, I think
yes,
love is eternal and
yeah,
it bonds you eternally to another light source.
yeah.
I think that's what bonds us to the creator, the source of all it is. It's love based and we're drawn to it like a magnet and it always makes us come back home.
It does, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
quite, and this one here represented to me that the transcendence of love is greater than the grave, greater than death itself,
Yes.
and that instinct carries over into the next realm. And as you can see here, the light has almost a different, almost, you can look at it, it's almost as if it's a different type of light. It's the only thing I know
Seems
how to describe.
electric to me.
It
Like I,
does.
I keep hearing electric. It's like
Yep.
it's alive.
It is alive.
Yeah,
It's
and it almost looks like a tractor beam.
Good description. Good description. So I just thought these are a couple of examples that tells me that something is definitely different.
Yep. Yeah. There's definitely something going on when we die. It definitely. And
Yeah.
like I said, I think there's going to be a lot to it is if you allow yourself to get sucked right up into the recycling machine, or if you figure out that there might be a better option.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've been booted offline 7 times now, and it's lowering my vibration. Well, David, I can tell
Oh,
you, Trina ain't doing anything. There is something with the internet today. It is, it's yeah. Don't bring me down, man.
right.
Don't bring me down.
Yes.
So, in the discussion of this, I swear to you, Trina, that I think that if we could overcome this propensity of fear of death,
Yeah.
that it would enhance our living much more intensely.
Think about it, Wayne. Nobody would be wearing masks or hiding in their homes.
So that's the truth. Is I mean, it's not like we already hide from each other to begin with. That's what the internet is so infamous about. It's the anonymity that you can be anything you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I I keep thinking on the 8 things that most people don't know about the soul. The There's an associated article with this, and the woman said that her brother died, and she was able, much like Patrick, to speak to the other side.
Uh-huh.
And her brother comes, makes contact with her,
Hmm.
and she wants to know, well, how are you?
Hmm.
And he basically said, well, sis, this is just this is beyond anything any person who's he says in the living could ever imagine. And she says, well, what do you mean by that? He says, there are rules here, there's laws, I can't tell you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But he did say that he was allowed to say that it is more joyous than what any of us could imagine.
It is. It's bliss. It's bliss.
Thank
It's
you.
bliss.
Yes.
Straight up bliss. It's a love that is not accessible in material form.
Mm,
Your body cannot hold the vibration. It can for little bits of time, but that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is constant. It never stops. Constant
Mm.
bliss. So I said when I felt the vibration entering into earth, I was like, hold the phone. I'm not doing this.
I'm beginning to become more convinced. They say that the attractiveness of Earth it's exactly that. It's the density of the vibration because
I think it's the challenge. We love a challenge and we
see,
love to be scared and we love scary movies and we love all that stuff. Most people are adrenaline junkies on this planet. Totally makes sense. Go to Earth. Yeah.
go to Earth.
You can die there a million different ways. Sign up for that, kids.
Uh,
Yeah. And then you
uh,
come in with amnesia. Can you find your way back to yourself? Can you
and see,
find your
that's
way?
the ultimate game.
It is a
It
game.
is the ultimate challenge.
I think so, and I think we made it because we get bored.
I'm convinced in the book Biocentrism is exactly what the author said is that we're gods.
Yeah.
And hell for us is boredom.
Yes, I think that's true. I do. And I think that's why God had to separate himself because he's lonely too.
I think
We
that's
need
true as
people.
well.
Yeah, when you have a consciousness of an awareness of an I am presence, you need to have another person to have an I am presence with because it's lonely. So
So
yeah,
so Jasna Frake says, so why did I hear my mom scream no and that she was not okay when she passed? Well, I don't know your mom,
yeah.
but let me ask you, was she religious in her belief systems?
Hmm.
That's the question I'm asking. I think that is Jasna, I think is how you pronounce that handle. Let me know. I'll watch the chat. But
She might have been saying no to the gate too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
There's so many
she
different
was religious.
reasons.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and she might have been saying no because if she might have figured something out, you never know. I mean, there's a million reasons. Or somebody might have approached her and she's like, no,
She
you know?
was religious, Christian, I am assuming, and we'll wait for Jasna. She was Catholic. Okay, all right.
Okay.
So that is completely normal, and there's good news here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
That
not to worry. Don't let that
yeah,
make you afraid. It's just she was just like clearly like, no. But see, that's the thing. You know, her consciousness is still completely active.
it
So
is.
that's confirmation for you to know that she is not gone. She's just transferred out of flesh.
One thing I would
No cost.
be to tell you is that even the master said, the Christ consciousness, as a person believeth in their heart, so they are.
There they are.
I would probably imagine your mother was pretty well convinced of the heaven hell scenario.
Hmm.
And listen, that's okay. The good news here is they enter into that reality initially,
Yeah.
but it begins to literally, it's like a mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just it fades away and the reality comes. But
Yep.
yeah, I can dig that. I mean, Trina, 20 years ago, I was into that mindset.
Oh, absolutely. That's the majority of the world.
Yeah.
If
And
I
you know
wasn't
what? It
talking
made
to the
go ahead.
Lord my whole life since I was a little kid and realized that people around me weren't as smart as him, so, that made me kinda hang on to that because I was like, "You know more than they do." I
Yeah.
knew that.
Yeah.
And, I'm glad I had that anchor, but yeah, that's why I told you, I really think the Lord, the solar Lord over this construct, I do believe is your primary soul. And we all have the same one. The only differences between them is our perceptions and our experiences and the molding and the programs. It's the only difference between it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Even Solomon said that with great knowledge comes great sorrow.
Oh, it does.
And yeah, it's true. It really is. Because um I talked to people that I hadn't talked to. I guess my full blown awakening was 10 years ago, but it came on really strong about five
Mhm,
and a half years ago almost.
mhm.
They look at me today and they don't understand me.
No,
No,
mm-mm.
they
You're
think
in a
I,
completely different vibration.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and it
yes,
can't resonate.
yeah. It
Mhm.
cannot. It,
Yeah, I see
and
this happen with people and relationships, and it happens within families. It's just across the board.
I think I'm beginning to also understand, Trina, that when it comes to residual energies, I speak specifically of two things. I'm going to be doing a show, I think tomorrow, on demon possession.
Mhm.
There is this explosion around the globe of people being demonically possessed.
Yes.
The latest one was a woman outside in Italy, outside Sicily, I believe, have the thing. She was literally crawling on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
that's not human.
No. No.
But do I think that this is a religious spirit? I don't know. And that's what we're going to get into. What's your thoughts on that, Trina?
I think that they come in through many different venues, and I think the increase that we're seeing right now is due to the frequencies coming out of the technology. It's a match for them.
Hmm, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, my contention is,
that's
and I
why.
talked,
That's why we have to keep the vibrations high because it
got
will
to.
negate so much of this stuff that's coming in right now. People are starting to see it.
And I contend that this has nothing to do with religion, that this is, in fact, I've contended this, Trina, that we're not alone. There are
We
beings
have
that
never
walk
been alone.
amongst.
Yeah, we
Thank
have
you.
never
We've
been
never been.
never,
That
never,
is
never.
absolutely the truth. We never
Literally,
have
I
been.
was shown, like, literally, we have internal technology, like the tracking devices that we're trying to all avoid here. They're already installed in your body.
Well, each of us give a unique Signal.
That's what I mean. They know your
Yeah.
frequency.
Yeah.
That I think they get it the moment that you're born on this planet. They know exactly who is who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just reading more. Very, yeah. And the thing about it is, and this is just my theory, because ghost hunting is, the big thing now. The technology is getting better. We're able to see these spirits. Um, and I kind of contend this, that two things. I think that if you're into the paranormal, that you go in with a preconceived idea of what to anticipate, that sends out a signal. And you're
Yeah.
going to attract, like a light with a moth, that type of energy.
Yes. What you think about, you bring about. So you should never dive into any of these spiritual activities until you've gone into your own shadow and looked at your own
Mm.
fears and looked at your own stuff, because those are the ways they're going to be able to get to you.
I know, I say this, Trina, and I'm serious about this. If I could see one of these ghost shows that doing this, if they would invoke favor upon the spirit, what would happen?
They Most of them would run away because they can't stand the love. They can't stand the
It's
love.
like,
They
it's
can't
like,
stand the
oh
frequency.
crap,
Yes.
they're
You
actually,
literally slam the door on their face.
yeah.
That's what it does. It's an energy
Yeah.
battle. That's why in the Bible it says we fight not against flesh and blood. We fight against principles and powers of darkness. This
Yes,
is
in
that.
high wicked places. I mean, that's
Yes. This is
Ephesians
that.
6:12. Yeah, I know it
Yes.
very well.
Yes,
And
and it's true. We're not dealing so much with flesh. We're dealing with the effects of spirit being influenced while in flesh. So we possess our bodies. We are possessing your body. What makes you think other things cannot possess this body as well? They can if you allow it.
you
They
see,
can if they have an open door. That's why it says put on the full armor of God. You must. You
and
must. And that is with what you think and what you feel. You feel fear. Fear's caviar. You just opened up many, many roads for them to travel.
no, I mean, it's an interesting discussion,
Yeah, it's a
because when you
battle of
think
mind.
about it, what makes us think that we own these bodies? I mean, seriously, each one
Wow.
of us. So R. Wayne Steiger, here I sit. I know that I'm a being within this. I mean, that reality is what messes with my spatial reality in the physical realm, because I know I'm a spirit.
Uh-huh. You know what I think about on that? My logic goes to, okay, the reason I know that I possess this body is because when you look at one of the oldest rulings of law, is due to possession is 9 tenths of the law.
That's so true.
And I possess this body. So who can have more rights over it than me? Because I possess it. So therefore it is my property. I own it, hold it, operate it. Show me that you can do more with me than I can. You can't. So
Brandy, I own a tux. So anyway, she's
right.
talking
So
that.
possession is 9 tenths of the law, and I
But
am
think
possessing
about that.
this
Then that's
body.
a wild concept,
Uh-huh.
because it would
This
make
is how you protect.
possession.
This is how you protect children too, and people have totally missed this. It's property rights.
Yeah. And in the favor invocation, that's why I put there your property, your
That's
offspring,
right.
your
Property.
yeah, and it is yours.
Yeah. That which you
Let's
created from your energy. What is more of that than a child? Nothing else. That's
mm-hmm.
the most imprint of your energy and creation in this matrix is production of a child. So yeah,
So
property.
if
Understand property rights.
let me just tell you, as bad as this whole perceived stay in place thing is, which is a totally strange reality, Trina. I didn't ask for it. I
Me
certainly
neither.
didn't see it coming.
I
And where the hell was everybody else? But
I did.
it's here.
Yeah, I saw this coming. I've seen it coming for years. And when I got that warning about the Hunger Games, I was like, oh, sugar and spice.
By the way, here is something that I found interesting. You and I did a show a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
and y'all who did not see it, you missed it. Where is it? As he's perusing here. There we go.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
check this out. Um, Seed companies can't keep up as more Americans turn to growing their own food. The Burpee Seed Company, which is the biggest out there, they're not taking any new orders. You have states that are now prohibiting people from growing gardens. Um, Folks, I don't know. Did you see the food line in San Diego?
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're really trying to start this. So guys, we
A
got to
mile
grow
and a
this.
half long, folks,
I'm
to
telling you,
get
this is
food.
literally what I'm seeing happen right in front of us, and it's like it's happening so slowly. People are not seeing what's going on, and it's
David
happening.
just heard another voice anomaly. I'm telling you, I caught the first one. I think the spirits are rambling through us. I don't know. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
Trina.
I think
Um,
a lot of people are paying attention too, because a lot of people are, good and bad are both looking to see what's being spoken about.
yeah, I have great trepidation about what I'm seeing, and it's not it's not it's not this rosy picture. Yeah, I wish it was, but
Mhm.
I don't
You
see
know,
it.
but
But
but Wayne, I literally, I've seen this over and over and over again. They showed me that we would split into two different dimensions, and some people will stay in the lower, and some people will go to the higher. And
yeah,
it would happen so gradually that you wouldn't even know it was happening. So that's why I'm telling you guys, it's so important right now to stay focused, because I do think we're in that division mode at this moment, and it will happen for months. It's not going to be a fast process. And that's why right now you have to do your work. You've got to stay positive. You've got to stay focused on what you want to see. You look at the world and see what it is and understand it, but say, wow, what are creative ideas? How could we fix this? How could humanity become more, self-reliable and taking care of each other? How could these things come together and see them happening with pen and paper, see them happening with the voice and the words proclaiming a new reality, but it's not through screaming, yelling, protesting, fighting. It's through actually taking action, planting food, getting together, and finding solutions.
I go by the principle calling those things that be not as though they are.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Now faith is the
Yes.
evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for.
Yeah. And it's
People,
it's so crazy. It's like you look at what's been done to us. I mean, we're so programmed to think we need to eat 3 times a day. We have all these vices and issues, and we think that we need all these things. And it's like the masters and the monks and the Buddhists and stuff, that some of these people are breatharians. They live on breath and sunshine. It's like we don't even realize what we are anymore. So I think a lot of this is happening so we can actually start to connect with what that is.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
It's amazing once you figure this out. I mean, that's why I learned the principle of visualization. Oh, when I first was getting into the corporate world,
Yeah.
and uh, the people that my mentors of the day were the people of the Earl Nightingales,
Mhm.
others such Zig Ziglar, and there's just Brian Tracy and a number of them. But Earl Nightingale was the first one, and this was in the 70s because I had been a student of Edgar Casey. And when I figured out the principles of what Casey was teaching, it goes to visualization.
Yeah.
And Earl Nightingale taught me the principles that if you can learn to visualize, you can bring into manifestation whatever, excuse me, that is.
Wayne, I did that with a house.
Yes, thank you.
I manifested a dream home, and I literally put my order into the kitchen, and what came out was beyond my imagination. And the house literally had my name on it. It was the model of name of this home was called the Alessandria.
I love it. Well, David Barry says that he is manifesting a world of just pure love, and I don't talk about things in our lives, but we're manifesting the same things. I mean, it
Yeah.
works, it's a technique. And if you need help on it, then do what I did in the early days, put down what you are confessing that you want to manifest. And this is where you need to put it. You need to put it directly on where you're sitting on the toilet, so that when you're having those moments, that's all you see. You put it on the mirror, you put it on the refrigerator, you put it everywhere it is, and that begins to set a man. And if you can get a picture,
I did a vision board and I drew out the floor plan, and Wayne,
right?
it all came in, and it was creepy weird. I had to go into a lottery to get my lot. 200 people showed up and I got chosen first.
Sounds like favored to me.
I'm telling you, it was crazy. I mean, it was insanity. The
Way to go.
manifestation, when I really did it, I really worked on it. Now I'm almost apprehensive to manifest, because when I manifest, I bring it in big. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, be careful what you ask for. And then it was crazy too. I literally manifested my dream home, and I manifested all this wonderful material stuff. We had a motorsports dealership. All this was good. And then what happens? Initiation again.
Hmm.
Everything had to be stripped, removed, taken away through the crash of 2008. It was, at the time, the hardest, worst thing that could ever happen. I went through divorce, bankruptcy, lost my dream home. Everything went completely backwards, upside down. And it was to show me, um, I was attached to the material world. And they were like, can you let it all go? And can you not resent it? Can you not, can you get through this? Because it was the utter tower moment. Yeah, everything was gone, everything, and I had to rebuild from scratch. And it's like, after all that, it's like you realize things aren't as important as you thought.
No, they're not.
Yeah, and you start to focus
Mm-mm.
on what is important. And that was when I went into focus on my children mode. I was like, wow, this really is the only thing that matters.
What I have found, much to yourself and others, we've come to this realization: it's not what you have, it's what you are.
It's what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
what's
I
in.
mean, you know, so many
Yeah,
people are lost in the illusion that it's a new house, it's a new car.
it's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's a form of your own slavery. It's just
It's
like we
like
put. Yeah,
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, it's like, all
yeah,
right.
we put ourselves in the cage and we didn't realize that we have the key, but
I
we've
love
locked
this.
ourselves into it.
And you can tell how it's getting so worn, but I love this. It's, the quote that from what we've been reading on the Eastern Masters. By the spiritual power of these affirmations during the night, a transmutation takes place in the unfolding from within. The spirit has saturated the spiritual body and spiritual temple. The inner alchemist has caused dead and worn out cells to fall, and the gold of new skin to appear with perpetual health and loveliness. Truly divine love in demonstration is eternal youth. The divine alchemist is within my temple, constantly coining new and beautiful baby cells. The spirit of youth is within my temple. This human form is divine, and all is well.
Isn't that beautiful? And look at that.
Beast,
Every single time they said the spirit, the spirit, the spirit. Never
the
once was
spirit.
soul ever even acknowledged.
Yeah.
Spirit, spirit, spirit. That's your
Spirit.
God power. Spirit.
Spirit.
Soul is a template for you to express yourself. That's what I've been shown. And I can't prove that, but that's what I've been
I
shown.
think, yeah, I think it's evident by our lives, wouldn't you say?
I think so too. And I
Yeah.
think it's, the soul is one soul. Like you said, one soul, many spirits. When you
Mm-hmm.
said that, I was like, bingo, that's what
Yeah.
I was shown over and over again. Because I struggled with the whole spirit soul thing, because I thought they were one.
A lot of people do. They interchange
Yeah,
them.
I
Yeah.
really did for a very
Yeah.
long time. So that was a tough concept for me to battle with. And I battled with it for a couple years. I was like, I want to understand this soul spirit thing. I don't get it. So it
I,
took a while.
I, I pay attention more and more to it. I was laughing because I woke up this morning. I'm trying to keep in focus at that very second when the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious enters in.
Yeah.
That is, it's
It's a different
for,
part of your brain.
for me, it's a party because
Yes.
it's, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just where I'm at these days, but I find that it has such mystery in those 2 dimensions.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and here of lately, my sleep has been so sweet. I mean, it's just been very contentful, if that
Gosh,
is
mine
even a
is just
word.
so I don't just I'm not even remembering my dreams right now. I'm
Mhm.
just sleeping so good and so hard. Yeah.
Speaking of dreams, last week, in fact, it's been for like the last couple of weeks, I was having this repeating dream that I had to go. I had to leave, like on a trip, but
Hmm.
and I told Lynn this last week, and I had the dream like 4 nights, and each time I could not get my suitcase packed. There was like my stuff was everywhere, and it was just I don't know. It was so. It happened
That's
4 nights.
that's a metaphor, and it's letting you know that you have too many things on your mind.
I couldn't get my suitcase, and it was holding
That's
me up.
because there's too many things and there's too much stuff. And basically, they're telling you condense it into the box, organize it. You've got a lot on your mind, a lot on your mind. That's what they're saying. You've got so much
Yeah.
on in the mind. Yeah, that's your mind.
Well, it and
Metaphor.
thank you. I'll take into that, and
Yeah.
in the yeah, because it. And I told Lynn, it was so distinct. I knew I had to go. I mean, and
Mhm.
the first time was a plane. The second
Mhm.
time was 2 times within a car. And then it was literally on a train. And I was like,
All the
anyway,
different ways of transportation.
yeah, I guess so.
Your
Yeah.
mind is so expanded. They're saying you're going in so many different directions. Focus on which one you want to take. Pick the Learjet first class. Yeah.
There's a story behind that. I'll have to tell you sometime.
I
That, but it was a
just
citation
heard it. They're
10.
like, pick the Learjet, go first class. Pick,
Yeah.
Wayne. You got to
Yeah.
pick because there's too much going on here.
Anyway, that's what can I say?
Metaphor. I love it.
It's life is so beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I was meditating on this, and I'm so now that I have really begun to understand,
Mm.
there is like this sense of being that I know I'm a being. I know I got this body. I get that. But at
Mhm.
the same time, this question I pose to myself, how do I see myself?
Mhm.
And this discovery came to me. I see myself in perpetual youth. I don't see myself any other way.
Me too. Always.
See? Thank
Yes,
you.
always. And when I would always work with the Lord, and I thought I did this because it helped me to connect to that frequency, but I was always in the body of a younger kid, probably around 9 or 10. That was what I would always see myself in with him. But it was just me.
I could see you, skinny legs and everything.
Yeah, I was just me. It was like that was me, but I was always in a kid and I was like, he was like a like your best friend, and you look up to him like,
Yeah,
"Hey, what about this?" But I was like a kid and that innocence, and I had a
yeah,
hundred questions, because kids they have 100
yeah,
questions and
we do.
they're like, look at me. That yeah, it's that energy of a kid. It
So
just
were you a girly girl, little girl,
no
or were you a
full
tomboy?
tomboy. But I could do both. Like I would play softball, and if I forgot my clothes and I was wearing a dress, I'd still play softball in a dress. I didn't care.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I knew we had some neighbors, and we were, we didn't wear shoes for the most part. In the
Yeah.
summertime we never did.
Me too.
But she was a tomboy, Pamela,
Mhm.
and I mean, I could see you as a tomboy.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
full on.
yeah.
I had a dirt bike since I was 5 years old. Yeah.
I bet you didn't take any gruff off many of the boys, did you?
I got kicked out of school in 6th grade because I beat up the school bully. I took on the biggest kid in the school because I was just done. I couldn't stand watching it another day, and I beat the crap out of him. I got kicked out of school, kicked off the volleyball team because I fought him in my uniform. Yeah, it was a train wreck, but yeah, didn't have no bully problem no more. Done.
You go, girl. You go.
I I've always had that protector thing in me, and I just couldn't watch him pick him beat up on my friends one more day. Yeah.
Dark
Too,
Truth
I
says I
think
was a
sometimes
tomboy too.
going through your own stuff in your own life, and then these triggers come in front of you, and it's just like you just once you've had enough, you've had enough, you know?
I love this.
Yeah.
Trina, I
Yeah.
could totally see it. I could just totally
I
see
did.
it all the way around.
I did do that.
Well, birthday girl, thank you for all the moderators and everyone in the chat. Thank you for, hitting the like button and, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, go over to Trina's
Mm.
channel and like her and subscribe, and happy birthday to you, Trina.
Thank you.
Hope it's
This hour
the,
goes so fast with you. It's like warp speed.
it
I was
is
like,
like,
I can't believe how fast it goes. It's so weird.
Scotty, we need more power,
I know, right?
I love it. Trina, you're just a delight and a joy, and I just do.
So are you,
do
and so
it.
is this crew. I just love all of you.
Yeah, it's really
Beam
has
with
become
love.
a tribe. I mean,
Yeah.
and in the truest sense of the word,
Yeah.
there
We're
is
all
a
just trying to
core.
figure out the greatest mysteries of life. And that's a big
Hey, and we
task.
do that here. We don't,
Yes, I know.
you know,
And it's hard. It's difficult. It takes work, yeah, and effort.
well, it's everybody's wishing you a happy birthday. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you
yes,
so
yes.
much. I love you guys so
You
much.
know,
So much
yeah, and they love
gratitude.
you right back. There you go. My goodness, you got
It'll
hearts and
make me
balloons and
cry. Yeah, as I feel it. I feel their love. Wow.
well, I'll let you take us out, Miss Trina. You
Oh
know,
gosh. Like I said, guys, keep the faith. Get a dream and dream a beautiful dream. And let's be the dreamers, the new dream weavers, and dream a new reality. Because we are. We're all going to go to what we think about. So think about and bring about things that make you feel love and joy, and imagine a beautiful world for the children and the animals, and just do your part in trying to hold your vibration high, because you guys have no idea how much that's going to matter in the long run.
well said. Well said. And if you want to come visit me, there'll be a concert going on with the
Yay!
surfing and and the cookout. So
I love it. I
just
love it.
come on and stop on in. We'll have
All
a
right. I was here and I was like, I wonder if we should start to intentionally create a planet for us, like literally visualize a new world that was like Wayne's World.
I why not?
And
There,
literally all of us put in our contributions of
yeah.
like, what would you like to see on the world? And what would you like to see on the world? And
Ooh,
all these beautiful ideas of building a world together, and what would that look like? Because that's how you anchor and you manifest
I
these
love that.
dreams. We make them, we literally will build them. And so I was saying, let's
All right.
create a new world, Wayne's World.
All right. All you construction workers, come on. We need architects. We need
And
carpenters. Bring it on.
artists
The
and the
artist.
planters and the
Yes. Yes.
animal caregivers and
Yes.
all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
Teachers and all of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Brandy says she's already in. Trees.
Yes.
She wants trees. All right.
Yes. Oh, lots of trees and flowers and roses and butterflies and rainbows. Yeah.
All right, folks. It's been fun. We'll
Yeah.
see you tomorrow. All
Much
right.
love.